We wonder how human beings would react in situations where there was a near absence of things happening.
What happened to him?
Well, in a way, nothing.
Looks to me like he's been in an accident.
No, this is an experiment that took place at McGill University. Students volunteered to participate in this study of human behavior under extreme and prolonged monotony. Their hands and arms were softly covered to muffle the sense of touch. All harsh lights subdued by a mask, comfortable beds, quiet. And yet it was impossible for most of these students to take it for more than 24 or 48 hours. The psychologist D.O. Hebb and his associates, who conducted these experiments, found that deprived of ordinary, everyday sensory experiences, the subjects began to lose touch with reality. Those who stuck it out began to see things, hear things. Distortions set in, hallucinations. Some began to see dots of light, lines, simple geometric patterns. Then the patterns became distorted. Another described hallucinations of little yellow men with black caps with their mouths open. One said he saw the recurring vision of eyeglasses passing in a procession like an animated movie cartoon. As the time went on, these visions became more disturbing, unreal, often frightful. Deprived of normal sensory bombardment, the brain may cease to function in the usual way. For instance, studies in France and at Harvard University have shown that hallucinations are fairly common among long-distance truck drivers after long, monotonous hours on the road. The cockpit of a jet aircraft droning along in the stratosphere can duplicate very closely the hypnotic monotony experienced by the students at McGill. Lack of change, little stimulation to the senses, illusion, distortion, hallucinations may set in. What happens to men in an Antarctic whiteout when they lose all sense of distance and all objects seem to float in midair? What is the strange exhilaration known as rapture of the deep that can cause divers to discard their breathing apparatus? These are problems that scientists in and out of the armed services are studying. This centrifuge machine, for example, helps to determine how the human senses function under abnormal conditions. Moreover, we are living in an age when man is extending his senses into far-reaching realms that he once only imagined, to the sources of meteors and cosmic rays. In England, a radio telescope like a huge electronic ear can catch faint radio waves broadcast from the distant galaxies and nebulae of outer space. Electronic senses circling the Earth send information to man's waiting brain. All these magnificent tools are nothing in themselves. They are really only extensions of man's basic senses, so that he can see further, hear better, feel more delicately. The simple truth is, no matter how much man may extend his senses, the more he must depend upon the ones he has. And so, inevitably, we return to our basic theme. We exist through our senses. We are bound to reality through our senses. We learn, we survive, we grow through our senses.